Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 227 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor and Damon. Feels like I haven't talked to you guys in forever. It's only been a week, but
yeah,
you know,
I mean,
weeks.
we took 1 week off, which means it's been 2 weeks. So
yeah, it just feels longer than that. I don't know why. Just
it's summer.
There's a lot
too.
going on this summer, man. Yeah.
It's a busy summer. I was at the Jersey Shore last weekend, so
I guess that's good.
I mean, you know, it wasn't the best of the Jersey Shore. You know, it was in Asbury Park, and you know,
I don't think I've ever been to Asbury Park, to be honest with you.
What's that?
I don't think I've ever been to Asbury Park.
Oh, really? Okay. No. Well, so I was there. I mean, I lived there briefly, like probably 20 some years ago. Right. And like back then it was, you know, it was really not a great area to be in, and you couldn't even go on the beach really. And the boardwalk wasn't anything to write home about. And like now it's just like revitalized. Like we went on the beach, you know, and there's, you know, stuff on the boardwalk to do. And, you know, so it was a good time. We went to like a pinball museum place that had was like, you know, unlimited pinball, and they just had like, you know, pinball everywhere. It was after the wedding I was at. It was the after party for the wedding. So which is
that's a cool.
Pretty cool.
Wait, the after party for the wedding?
Yeah, it was the after party for the wedding. So,
a small wedding, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean it was like 100 people probably, I guess.
And everyone went to this pinball place after?
Not everybody. A lot of people left.
Did they like rent it out, or?
Yeah, they rented it out. Yeah.
Oh,
they rented out a section. They didn't rent out the whole thing, but they like you could go in the whole thing, but they had like a section where you could all sit. But there was maybe like, I don't know, 40 people left at that point because there was already like, you know, 10 o'clock at night or whatever it was. So,
gotcha. I'm looking this.
So not everybody.
Up.
What?
I have to see now. Is the Silver Ball Retro Arcade?
I think that's the one. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that might be it. Yeah, it's right on the board. If it's right on the boardwalk, then yes. Yeah, I think that's. Let me look it up now. I got to look it up and see if it's that one.
But it looks like they had like other games besides pinball too. Though.
They do. It's mostly pinball, but they do have like, you know, other classic games. Like they had some really old games. You know those games that are like the baseball games where you like press a button and it pitches a ball and
a metal ball. Yeah.
Yeah, and
but it looks like they actually had the actual arcade games as well. Like, did I see a Galaga?
They do. They had The Simpsons there. I tried to get my brother-in-law, who, you know, it was just his wedding. I was like, dude, The Simpsons is open. We need to go and get 2 other people, you know, because we gotta. You know, if you're going to do that, you got to have 4 people to play Simpsons. I didn't see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, though, which was the other one we always played when we were kids. But
yeah. I'm looking.
Did you remember the combo attacks in The Simpsons?
No, I don't remember the combo attacks.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember the combo attacks?
Yeah, absolutely, I do. Yeah, I played a lot of The Simpsons.
They had Popeye.
Yeah,
now, that's an old school game.
Oh yes,
the rip-off Mario Popeye is so good.
Coleco. Yeah, I played that on Coleco way back in the day. Yeah.
No, this place was pretty cool though, man. Like they had some really cool old pinball games and some cool arcade games, and I mean, it was a really cool place to have
Tapper.
A party.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list now. I'm just
they had Tapper. Yeah, I almost played it because, like, especially since they made a reference to it in Wreck-It Ralph. Like, I almost was like, I got to play Tapper.
You should have.
Yeah, I didn't. There were just too many things to play, and it was late at night, and I was kind of tired.
Yeah,
to be honest, it was a very long weekend of travel, and yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I was going to say, I mean, you know, for me, playing video games at 10 o'clock at night is like a Friday night.
No, dude, I'm sleeping by then. That's it. I'm knocked out.
Well, so my problem was, and Damon, you would have like totally hated this, right? So like Asbury Park now is very like hipstery now, right? And it's like full of like, you know, a lot of young people and stuff with money. And so the hotel we stayed at was, you know, we were staying at the hotel that was like within walking distance of the venue for the wedding. And so we were on the top floor of the hotel, but on the rooftop of the hotel was a rooftop bar.
Oh, hell
they
no.
blasted techno music until like 1:30 in the morning. Like literally it was like my entire night was boom, 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 like shaking my room. And I'm like, how is this a functioning hotel that allows this? Like it was bad. It was, we barely slept because it was so loud. Mind you, this hotel was $800 a night to stay in. Are you...
Okay, I need to ask, whose ringtone was that was grabbing?
I don't know.
It just went off. That must have been Damon's.
It must have been Damon. Yeah. But this hotel was $800 a night. Not that I paid that. I split it with somebody. But
I mean, that puts it on the same level as like staying at the Grand Californian.
Dude, the only reason they can charge that much is because it's on the beach, right? Like, it's not even like a nice hotel. Like, I swear the furniture was from IKEA. What?
Location means a lot.
Yeah, it was all about location. I mean, you're a block from the beach. Cool.
Right.
But like, truthfully, there was no other hotel in the area that I could get for less than that, you know? Like, because I split it, so it was only $400 a night for me, but like literally every other hotel room, and it was like $500 a night minimum. So, I mean, it's summertime by the beach. That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's fair too. You're also traveling during prime time.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's how I spent my weekend. I was traveling, and it was, like I said, we had flights, and we weren't really sleeping because we were, in this really loud hotel room. So I was a little tired. I just kind of wanted to go, and I was sweaty too. Like, it was so humid and so hot at the beach. I was just over it. I wanted to get out of the dress clothes, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, the pinball place was cool, man.
Yeah, I would love to go. I would love to go to a pinball place like that. We have a retro arcade near us, like same kind of thing. Like they have Simpsons, and they do actually have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles machine. So, like you, I've my brother and I have gone and played arcade games like that, which that's something that I really miss. And even like at Disney, like Disney used to have a good selection of arcade stuff, and I know like there's a couple of hotels that still do have arcades. Not all of them do, but I kind of miss that. I'll be honest. Like, I know it's not financially feasible because the machines don't make money. Like the cost to upkeep an arcade machine, usually outweighs the cost at this point. But I don't know. There's just something about like arcade machines for like it's a childhood thing, right? Like,
well, and the nice thing about this place too was it was my sister's wedding I was at, and it was their after party, so they actually paid for us to get like wristbands. So I mean, everything in there is unlimited, right? So like they don't do even coin operated. Everything is just press start button.
Just start and go.
Yeah. So everybody that goes in, you pay one price, and it's unlimited,
and it's cheap too.
Yeah, I didn't even look at the price because my sister paid for it.
It was $25, man, for the whole day.
It's not too bad. Yeah.
And that was my ringtone, by the way. That was my fault. My son was calling me. What you like Gravity Falls ringtone?
Yep. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
I didn't even hear it because I was talking.
Yeah, I sat for my ringtones. I was getting to the point, like, once you have a bunch of kids, right, you got to like kind of know who's calling. So everyone's got their own ringtone. Everyone's got their own text tone. So at least that way I know who it is. So I don't have to always like be like, oh, am I going to actually answer that or not?
Yeah, no, I get that. That makes sense. So, I mean, I had a good time. It was, we had a fun time over the weekend, but I'm glad it's like our all of our travel stuff is over at this point for the time being.
I still got a vacation in the books. I still got Dollywood coming.
Oh yeah, that's right. You do. Yeah.
5 days in Dollywood. It will be interesting. I'm excited. I thought that maybe we could get some people from Tennessee to go, but their kids are in school already because we're not going till like the 9th. Yeah, the 9th, the 10th, something like that. 9th.
My daughter starts the day after Labor Day. It's her first day.
My kids start before that. I think they start the 20 something. What is it? The 28th, I think.
Gotcha. Yeah. I do want to mention on here. Sorry, this is unrelated. Sorry, Trevor. Damon, were you going to say something else?
No, what were you going to say?
I was just gonna throw it out to the audience, that we were talking before the show about getting more guests on in the future, like we used to do. We just haven't done it in a while, and I wanted to see, I wanted to throw it out there to the listeners. If there's like a podcast you guys really like, and somebody from a podcast you like, I was just wanted to say, send us an email. We'll try to see if we can get that person on the show because we want to bring on more guests from other podcasts.
Yeah, we got lazy. I think COVID made us all lazy.
It did.
Yeah, COVID kind of messed up a lot of things.
Yeah, it made us lazy. So
yeah.
Wait, so yeah, what else was I going to say? Oh, so I'm still working on some videos, but I need more people to watch my videos, man. I need more YouTube views on my vintage T-shirts. Like, dude, everyone loves vintage T-shirts. Speaking about vintage video games, everyone loves vintage T-shirts, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Vintage
you're not getting
video game T-shirts would be a very interesting
So-
diagram for me.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I don't think I have too many of them. But so Trevor, so one of the things I'm going to do is I used to go to Comic-Con all the time, right?
Mhm.
So I don't think these are necessarily vintage because you figure Comic-Con, I mean, I had kids. Did I have kids? Maybe. So let's call it early 2000s. Let's just say,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So when you used to go to Comic-Con, especially when it just opened in New York, they would always give away a lot of free stuff. So free posters, a lot of it. So I have like tons and tons and tons of just like poster tubes filled with stuff, right? Probably like 15 of them. And there's probably stuff, I think, like I have stuff from when I was growing up. I took them off the wall, folded them, put them in the tube, kept them going, right? I'm going to do like a video about those things as well, but I'm kind of curious to see what I have video game wise. So you know what actually I do have, and I don't know if you remember this game. So Kurt Schillings was investing in a video game. Oh, gosh, I don't think it was Vanguard. It was called something else, but it was an MMO, and then it eventually folded.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big thing. So they were at Comic-Con, and I feel like I have a signed poster from the whole development team, but I have to see what's in there. So I'm going to be doing videos on that. I still have What's in My Attic stuff, which I just trying to find a better way to video it. But I know that there's Disney stuff in the next one. I haven't found a great way to present it as well as I want yet. So we shall see. But that's what I've been working on as well. And I've been back to the group. I come back to the group once a week. I feel like I should come back once a week, but like set up like scheduled posts so that way I don't have to do all my posts.
Make it seem like you're there.
Yeah, exactly. Make it seem like I'm there.
You just ruined the illusion though. Now everyone's just going to be like,
I'm
it's
okay
Robot
with that.
David.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. But I don't know. Like I said, coming back once a week is fine. I'll be in Florida next week at a swim meet, and then we'll be in Dollywood, I think 2 weeks after that, and then back to school. So we'll see. But yeah, we got to get some guests on. And don't get any guests when I'm not around. I want to be around for the guests.
I feel like I need to feed your every audio track from every episode we ever did into like an AI thing, and just create an AI Damon that can do the show with us when you're not here.
You could. I'm sure it would be a pretty boring AI, though. I think that's the problem.
It'd be boring.
Yeah, because
that's fair. I mean, because AI is only as good as the prompts you give it.
Yeah, the nuances of so I was using AI to do. I guess we'll semi let the cat out of the bag, right? We talked about our next wait list is going to be a haunted river country, right? It's going to be based on an AI story. Okay. But beyond that, so again, for all the people that watch Amphibia, I was kind of just messing around and was like figuring out like if it could write a story about what if King Andreas won rather than lost in Amphibia. And it gave me such a good twist that I was so surprised. So I put it all in, and they were like, so Trevor, you've watched, right?
I have not actually finished Amphibia yet. So
well, anyway, Frobo,
you don't get it up here as quick as you do. You got to.
That show's like 3 years old at this point.
I know, but the problem is from when the hype dies down to when we actually get it on Disney Plus, it gets forgotten.
Okay. Well, anyway, Frobo is in probably seasons 2. So anyway, so Frobo ends up being part of a hidden contingent in the battle at the end. And even though we all thought he was with Anne and team, he wasn't. It was pretty good. So stay tuned for our next wait list where we have a story, which we already have. I have it somewhere on my machine of Haunted River Country.
It's going to be fun.
That will be fun.
It'll be weird because
I kind of almost like want to record one already. Like I'm kind of like that. Like I haven't been as excited for a wait list as I went for that.
I mean, I think it might be good for us to do a wait list here because, being that I think being that it's still summertime, we all have trips and stuff coming up here in the next month or so. So I think we should record it sooner than later.
I'm not going anywhere to.
Yeah, Tom's not going. Wait, Trevor, when are you going away again?
In August. I have.
When?
I need to find the exact dates.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to be gone from the 9th to the 15th, 9th to the 14th, 9th to the 14th.
I think I'm gone 6th. I won't be around the 6th, so I'm gone the week before you.
Well, that's not helpful.
Yeah.
Wait, when are you back?
I'll just talk to myself.
Oh, I'll be back that week. So we're only gone for like 3 or 4 days.
Oh, okay. All right. Maybe it'll be Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's the next time I'm going to be gone is that week. So unless something else pops up, who knows? I don't know. My daughter's like begging me to take her to the beach. So we'll see. But anyway,
listener questions.
How do we only get one listener question being gone for 2 weeks? It's like,
dude, I think it's summertime. I'm blaming it on the fact that it's summertime and everybody's doing summer stuff.
Yeah, maybe. Well, Austin says the upcoming Fort Wilderness cabins are no longer listed on the official Disney Parks blog. Do you think we'll get an update with both reflections and cabins at Fort Wilderness and Destination D23 in September? I can't imagine they would have announced it and then canceled it that quickly. I mean, that just got announced. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think so. Yes, we'll get an update on Fort Wilderness. No, I don't think we're going to get an update on Reflections.
Yeah, I don't think Reflections is happening, man.
No, I think it's just that's done at this point, or at least for the foreseeable future, because Disney does. This is their next project after they're done the tower at the Polynesian. It's going to take a while, right? Like, they don't want to announce a whole bunch of stuff. And again, I think part of it too is I'm noticing a change in the communication from Disney that since old Bob took things back over from new Bob, I feel like they're kind of dialing back on the communicating things really far ahead, because I know like Iger used to do that. Like Star Wars was a good example where he released the information like way far ahead, and it kind of like built up a bunch of hype at the beginning, and then everyone forgot about it until it was pretty much ready or until Galaxy's Edge opened.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they're kind of doing the same thing here now, where they announced like the initial we're planning to do this thing, but you're not going to see a ton of information about it until they actually have something substantial. Like, you're not going to get like quarterly updates on it, right? Because that kind of loses the hype. And I think Disney needs to build up some hype. So whether or not they announce it at D23, there's nothing to talk about. So I don't see why they would talk about it there.
I assume that they're saving everything for D23. Like, that's just because it's so close at this point, that they're
right.
Any new announcements, I feel like they would save for D23. But I mean, I could be wrong. But
this specific, like, you're right. There will be announcements at D23, but I'm saying specifically the caverns at Fort Wilderness.
Yeah.
They're not gonna like. What's there going to be to talk about that they haven't already said? Which is, sure. We're building DVC cabins. Like,
no, it's true. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, I just don't think Reflections is happening. It just doesn't feel like it's going to happen. So.
Not under the current name, at least. I think I wouldn't be surprised if because that space is still there. That at some point they'll decide to revisit it. I don't think it'll be called Reflections whenever they decide to revisit it.
Yeah, maybe not, especially since that name got like really made fun of quite a lot, because it sounds like a spa or like some sort
Shady
of
Pines.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it sounds like you should whisper the name, right? It should be like Reflections, like it just. I mean, it's kind of funny. I mean, and I would think they also would change the design up a little bit too after they got a lot of heat for that too. So. And I mean, listen, I would bet with, the new leadership coming into Imagineering that like there's probably some things that they were farther down the line on that probably got reevaluated. I would think, you know what I mean? Like, maybe he came in and then was like, this, no, we need to do this better or different, or, I'm sure all the projects that they're working on that they haven't announced yet probably all got some sort of, a reevaluation of some sort, and it might have changed. And so that's why we probably aren't hearing anything. And we're going to hear things. I mean, they're going to announce stuff. Iger, every time he has an interview, basically talks about how excited they are about the parks and how much they want to invest in the parks and, that kind of thing. So we're going to hear what that means. Right. Like, but it's just not yet.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of, like you said, it's back to the drawing board right now, right?
Exactly.
Like I think he's taking stock of what was in the hopper, and I'm sure that there's projects that he wouldn't necessarily agree with the path that they were on, because
he was well known for being
honest.
hands-on with the Imagineering, right? So he was known for that. Yeah.
Yeah, and let's be honest, Chapek, we could see the results of him cutting corners.
Oh yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
So I think Bob Iger probably wants to really like make sure that it makes sense, and he may be tasking people with like, sorry, scrap this and redo it, which means you're out another 6 months before you see anything.
Exactly. All right, let's talk about this DVC news item, which I think we talked about a long time ago, but I want to bring it up again because it's interesting to me.
But it was
did, right?
It was like when they first announced it. Now they're actually testing this.
Yeah. So DVC is testing a program to assist with vacation planning and dining reservations. So essentially, it's an initiative designed to help larger groups, I guess specifically larger groups. But they're testing a program they're calling the Member Experience Specialist Team. 90 days out of scheduled arrival, select DVC members are being contacted by cast members to offer assistance with vacation planning needs, including dining reservations, recreational availabilities, organizing special events, My Disney Experience setup, My Magic Mobile setup, park tickets, park reservations, resort reservations, general questions. And this is all done via email. And so listen, I would love if I could just give them a list of the dining reservations I want and what days, and they could just schedule those for me. I mean that.
But why would it be free?
Well, I mean, they do that for free now. If you think about it, I mean, all the Disney travel agents do it for free, right? Like they get paid by Disney to do it for people, right? So, I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking, Damon. I mean, it's kind of like an extension of the Disney travel agent program, I think.
But Damon makes a good point, though, that for something like this, why would they offer it to DVC members specifically for free? Because, like, honestly, everything else that we get, there is a cost. Like, whether or not you see the cost up front, there is a cost with it. And I guess the thing about this is it's still in testing, so they're not going to charge you for something that they're testing, I guess would be the first thing.
I mean, I'd probably pay for this, honestly.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, is that this is kind of like, paying for like concierge level stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because the one time we stayed concierge level, they booked everything for us, right? And like that was kind of nice. It's kind of nice to have. But I mean, I also don't I see it as just them. It's another member benefit, right? Like it's another benefit of being a Blue Card member. It's another way they differentiate themselves from resale, right? As they offer a service like this for free, just as part of your membership, right? The costs associated with it somehow get rolled into the overall dues that we pay. I don't know. But I mean, like I said, it's when you're a Disney travel agent, you do all this stuff for your customers, and your customers don't pay anything. Disney pays you a cut to do all this, right? So I mean, it's not all that different from that. It's just the DVC member piece, right? Because you're obviously it's a much lower ticket overall because you're not paying for the room, right? So but yeah, I don't know. I think this is a great idea. I love this idea, and like I said though, I would gladly pay for it. I mean, what would you guys pay for this? I mean, or would you?
I wouldn't, but that's only because I'm the biggest gap I see with this is for people that are not necessarily, I guess it's not technically savvy. It's wanting to invest in understanding Disney's systems. And I can see where that is the offer here. For me, I know how to use My Disney Experience. I know how to make dining reservations. I know how to get all of these things. So it doesn't, I can go look on the website as easy as a,
yeah, I agree. If you're telling me that you have something special that you can do that, like Trevor's saying that he can't do, that's different than just doing the same thing Trevor can do.
Well, but in here it says, in the event they're unable to secure a specific dining reservation when the window first opens, the group promises to continuously search on your behalf. That's to me of value, right? Like I can't tell you how many times I've had to constantly try to, for months try to get a dining reservation. If they're going to keep searching for me, I would. That's a big one, I think. No, not for you
Yeah,
guys.
No, you're right. I'm just.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean, if
thinking
it's
about it.
free, I like it because
Yeah.
I like free. Would I pay for it? Probably not. But if you're just free, yeah, I like free.
Yeah, that I'm with Damon on that. If it's free, sure, I would take advantage of it. If it had a dollar cost associated with it, it comes down to, my time versus my money. And for me to pop open the app and do a quick search, like, every other day or whatever, that's not worth spend. Or I guess the hard part for me is, as somebody who travels internationally, whatever the cost is, I get to tack on an extra, 20% on top for conversion rate.
Yeah.
So that makes it far less appealing to me personally.
No, I get it. I look at it this way though too. Like I pay when I have a Disney trip planned, I typically will pay for touring plans, which I want to say is $18 for the year. And one of the big reasons I pay for touring plans is specifically for their dining reservation thing, right? Where they check for you and then they text you if something opens up, because I will continuously check, but it's also good to have like, someone else checking for me and then will alert me when it's, when it opens up. So like, I mean, I think I'd pay $20 for this service, or like, I think it'd be worth it for 7 days when I'm there, like $20. I'd pay that to get all the dining reservations I want, especially if I have a larger group. I mean, I'm already thinking about my vacation next year where I'm going to have 9 people, and that's going to be, a challenge for us to get a lot of dining reservations we want. So, especially with larger groups, I feel like, and I don't know if they can like get us like, they're not making it sound like they can like circumvent the reservation system, right? And get us reservations that other people can't get. But like, if they could help with larger groups, I think that's a nice benefit.
Yeah. And I guess that's the thing is, like you said, that's kind of hitting the nail on the head there is, for larger groups, this is absolutely more useful. And I noticed like with the demo here, their test that they're targeting, what did they say? 3
large groups,
3 bedrooms, bungalows, stuff like that. So, so I can see where like, if I was going with a large group, I wouldn't necessarily want to figure out the headache of, doing reservations for 10 people or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can see that. And I guess for me is, 90% of the time it's 3 people in my party because, it's me and my wife and my son. So that really kind of takes away from, or like, I don't have issues getting reservations just because of my party size, I guess, is the short statement there. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So no, I think this is an interesting test. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Remember, we were talking about a rumor like months ago about DVC maybe doing like a membership plus kind of thing, like a subscription service that gave like extra benefits.
Yeah.
And like maybe I could see this being part of something like that, right? Yeah. I could see that. I mean, we'll have to see though what actually comes out of that. It's an interesting test though, for sure. I mean, and that's why people do the travel agents, right? It just makes it easier to plan. They do all your dining reservations for you. It's much simpler, right? But yeah.
Well, it's simpler for you for the travel agents. It can be a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. No, it is. Yeah. That's why I don't do it anymore, because it's like all consuming. If it's not like your full-time job, it's really hard to do on a part-time basis.
Yeah.
So anyway. So go ahead, Trevor. Go ahead. Did you want to say?
Well, I was going to say, are we going to? So this next piece affects me directly, and it's kind of funny. So, Mears Connect and Sunshine Flyer have agreed to merge. Is the title of this next piece? Yeah. Which for those that have been following along, back during COVID, Disney canceled the Magical Express, which was run by Mears. Yeah. And the result of that was that Mears started up Mears Connect, which is it's a paid version of the Magical Express without all the Disney labeling and all that.
It's literally the same thing, same buses, everything. It's just you got to pay for it. Yeah. And it's not Disney themed. Yeah.
But then that also spawned another company called Sunshine Flyer coming up that had their coaches, themed as trains and whatnot. So they were not saying they were the Magical Express, but they were definitely giving off that vibe of the Magical Express. And it was making for some competition between Mears and Sunshine Flyer. But now what's happened is that I guess I did a little bit of reading on this when I saw the announcement that apparently they're merging because they want to they're both doing the same thing, and they realized, I guess, that there's not enough space there for them to compete, because like I don't think that they're actually getting like it's not like they're filling up coaches and stuff all the time for these, because there's just not that many people utilizing both of the services. So I think from what I'm reading, it seems like Mears is merging with Sunshine Flyer, but they're assuring that like Sunshine Flyer's experience is going to stay the same, even though it'll be part of Mears Connect. So I'm wondering if they figured out that they can leverage, what Sunshine Flyer has done to, kind of emulate that Magical Express feel, but then Mears doesn't have to put the legwork into building that up, right?
I had read they were getting rid of the train themed buses though as part of this. I thought I read that, but
yeah, well, the train themed thing is one thing, but I think it's also that they like. I heard a lot of feedback about Mears that they were not like. It seemed like once the Disney contract dropped, their customer service and everything took a hit. Their systems seemed like they weren't very good, is what I heard. Like that they were not very good at like the whole customer service part, right? Like and actually like with reservations and all that. I'm guessing that Disney provided all the front end for Magical Express, and then Mears just got the info later, and so like they had to build all that stuff from scratch, right? Exactly. I'm guessing, yeah. And so what it sounds like is that it sounds like both parties approached one another, and it sounds like Sunshine Flyer is kind of filling that gap for them. That they're helping give that better customer service, giving that more Magical Express-esque feel, but now it'll all be under one umbrella, which I guess is great. It makes it simpler, in that there's you don't have to decide which one you're going to go with. For me, I was actually going to try Sunshine Flyer on my next trip, because we've done the what was it called, Quicksilver. It was one of those like town car services. And while that was great, the thing about it is that it is definitely more expensive than getting a coach service, right? So we looked at it and we were like, we could do that, but we agreed, like my wife and I talked about this, and we were like, we can, for this next trip, let's just see how this compares, because we've done the Magical Express, we've done the town car. Let's see, where Sunshine Flyer sits in the mix. But now it's going to be Mears Connect anyway, which is kind of funny, because it's like I was deliberately not going to go with Mears Connect because it was, former Magical Express, and I was going to try the new thing. But now here we are back at square one. So,
can we talk about how bad this name is, though? By the way, Mears Connect Driven by Sunshine is the new name. Like, that's way too long of a name, man. Yeah. Mears Connect Driven by Sunshine.
I'm sure they'll rebrand it again later.
That's just a rough name, man. Like, I get they're trying to do both, but I don't know. They could have just gone by whichever name was better. I don't know. You could have even just called it Mears Sunshine Flyer, and it would have been better.
Right. Yeah. Sunshine Flyer. Yeah. Sunshine Flyer by Mears would have been better than Mears Connect Driven by. Like, you're right. But it's too many. Like,
it's too many words. Like, no one's going to say that whole thing out, right? Like, no one's going to call it that ever. So
MCDS.
MCDS. Yeah, that's because all the Disney people love to abbreviate everything, right?
Yeah, let's just acronym it. I don't got time to explain what it is. Just get on the MCDS. Go.
Yeah. I mean, I just saw this as Mears just buying a new competitor that showed up, and they were just like, let's just, because I mean, Mears was the number one for, it says on here, for 15 years. They were the contracted service of Disney, and they were the one that was already there, right? So like, Sunshine Flyer was this new up and comer, and they were just like, buy up a competitor,
But I think it's because of the fact that if it was a competitor, but they weren't offering something better than what Mears was doing, Mears would have ignored it, because they would have been like, whatever, you can choose them, but we're the bigger, they could have relied just on the fact that they're the bigger established company. But I think because of the fact that Sunshine Flyer was getting a lot more attention, and especially again, because like I said, going back to that, filling the Magical Express gap, I think Mears had to do something with that because they were losing that. They were losing that ground, right?
Mears stumbled hard out of the gate. It seemed like, right? Like it seems like they really did not do a great job of transitioning off of Disney. So yeah, but I mean, listen, maybe it leads to better things, maybe not. Sometimes less competition is not a great thing. I mean,
that's true.
So we'll have to see, though. I mean, well, maybe it will improve both services. Who knows?
I'll let you know in February.
Yeah, exactly. All right, the last thing I had on here, we haven't talked popcorn buckets in a while, and I thought this was kind of a cool popcorn bucket. So this is the droid parts popcorn bucket. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say this looks like my kid's droid, or well, not my kid's got the round head, the R, or I guess they're all R2 units. I can't remember what the model types are, but yeah, this looks it looks exactly like, and they've got like the fake duct tape on it.
Oh, the fake duct tape. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is pretty cool. I like this one. It's pretty cool. I mean, you know, they've been doing a lot of really interesting stuff with popcorn buckets for a while now. And this one, I mean, I feel like I'm trying to remember the last time I saw a Star Wars Galaxy's Edge one. I'm also seeing too that the legs have wheels on them too, which is kind of cool.
That's for a popcorn bucket. That's kind of interesting.
Like, have wheels on the bottom?
What is your popcorn? I guess because, you know, it's a popcorn bucket. If you go to set it down, you know, it's not exactly stable with your popcorn in it.
Yeah. And it lights up too. I didn't even see that it lights up. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's just the front light. It's just that front light that lights up. Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's nice. Like I said, it looks like my kid's droid, which I if you're going to build droids, you can double down and, you know, have the droid popcorn bucket too.
You could do both. Yeah, you could do both. All right. Well, we didn't have to talk about that one for long. I just wanted to bring it up. So should we go ahead and do the ad?
Yeah.
All right. Our sponsor of this episode is DVC Resale Market. DVC Resale Market, a World of DVC company, is the leader in the DVC resale industry with 13 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 3 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you're thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere with DVC experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you're thinking of selling, turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 98% of listings sell within 30 days. In 2022, DVC Resale Market helped over 4,400 families join or add on to their memberships. And this is very important that everybody listens to this because there's something new here. So if you are going to DVC Resale Market and you've heard of them from us, go to dvcresalemarket.com/welcome home. That's dvcresalemarket.com/welcome home. That lets them know that you heard about them from us. Or you can call 1-844-DVC-PROS. That's 1-844-382-7767. We speak to them. Be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you. Alternatively, if you go on their website, you can also select us from the drop-down. Very important that you mention that you heard about them from Welcome Home. So please do that. Please check them out for all your DVC resale needs. I feel like I saw recently, maybe it's in a review that I'm going to read today, but somebody mentioned they were not aware of resale until listening to our show and listening to hearing about these ads. And I mean, I was in that boat too when I first bought DVC. I did not know resale was a thing. I just thought you could only buy it from Disney. Like, I didn't know. So yeah. And we saw some nice reviews too recently in the group too. So
I like that. I guess I haven't been here in a while, but I like this estimated monthly payment now next to the price.
Oh yeah. Also, if you're an owner too, you can they can give you an idea too of what you can sell your contract for. Like, and all that too. Like, they can give you an estimate of what your contract's worth. All that. It's really it's a very well done website, and they have an app too. So
yeah, I have the app running all the time to alert me. I'm still looking for a new poly contract, but there's not a lot below the 100-point mark, which we want less than 100 points.
Yeah, 110. That's about it.
Contracts, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know where I'd want resale. Where would I even want resale if I was to buy such a resale thing?
Would you get more Saratoga? Yeah.
Would I? I don't know. I'd want my resale contract to not touch my other contracts kind of
But
like.
wouldn't you want
food
the
on a
same
plate.
use here and all that?
I mean, couldn't I get the same use here on a different place?
Yeah,
You
could.
could, yeah.
Use here at a different resort. Yeah.
But
Boardwalk, maybe? Would it be Boardwalk?
Interesting.
There's a 500-point Boardwalk contract. That sounds nice.
Well, your
Could you
kids
imagine?
said they love Boardwalk, right? You said your kids' favorite is Boardwalk.
500-point contract. I don't even know
That's
what I would do.
that's like a couple of weeks
Yeah.
every year. You could spend like
I don't know, man. I'm trying to retire early, though, so I'm going to have all this time to go to Disney. But if it's just two of us, how many points do I need? I mean, 1,000 points, I could be living it up.
you could stay at
500 points a year.
Yeah. Just spend
Those
a whole month.
Riviera 2-person rooms are pretty good, decent.
I could just stay there for like 6 months.
You'd get so tired of each other in that tiny room, though. Like that room is way too small.
But you could be out like all the time. Wait,
You
so
have
how
the
much?
entire
How could
Disney
I
property.
stay there? Point chart. I have to look at a point chart. So with 1,000 points, 2 people. Like, how long could you actually
How long
stay?
did you actually make it happen?
So you're saying like a tower studio?
Yeah, those tower studios are cheap. They're like,
So let's just say on average I'm going to just say for average for the year, let's call them like 15.
15. Go with 15. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a lot of days, man.
You could just stay there for. Listen, I told you my brother-in-law's parents have like, I don't know how many points they have, but I think it's over 1,000, and they'll just go to Saratoga for a month. They just go in
6 days. I mean, gosh, that would be a long time.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what they do, man. So it's they don't even go to the parks. They just I don't know what they do, to be totally honest.
I mean, I could definitely hang out in Disney for a month, just chilling.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's still going to cost you a fair chunk of change, though, just to eat. I feel like.
Yeah, but I mean, like if you're in a DVC room, you could always get groceries and like try to
Tower Studio. I'm not getting too much though, right?
That's
It's not
true.
like a cool box. It doesn't even have a freezer anymore.
yeah. You're not in a Tower Studio, no. You would need at least a regular studio with the kitchenette, right?
Yeah, now
you'd be going over to eat at the All Stars resorts.
Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't, man. I couldn't.
You hop on the Skyliner and go over to like Pop Century.
There you go.
All good.
Yeah, but there's nothing good there.
They have some good stuff over there.
I don't know, man.
They got a food court. It's fine.
But here's the thing. I still think I'm better off staying at a deluxe studio at Old Key West.
Yeah, probably. I mean, you might be. I mean, it would be cheaper for you to stay at a studio at Saratoga or Old Key than, Riviera. I mean, maybe not than a Tower Studio. I don't know what the comparison is.
It's like it's almost the same.
Yeah. And their room's a lot bigger. I mean, the Saratoga
and I'd have a fridge and a freezer.
Yeah.
And a real kitchen.
Damon's just imagining spending a month now at Disney.
But I still have to buy 500 more points. That's the problem.
Yeah, that is the problem.
Yeah.
That is the main problem.
Yeah, it is. All right,
just a small barrier.
So I want to talk about this rumor. Yeah. Okay, so
but it's going to go sideways because there's a whole lot to consider before we.
This is very going to go sideways. That's why I put it on here because this is this came out a month ago, right? And I don't follow Theme Park Insider as much as I should, but Robert Niles is probably the closest you get to like a really respected theme park journalist. Like he's got legit connections within Disney and like knows what he's talking about. So this rumor and this was talked about, Josh Giamaro at the last D23 talked about adding all this stuff to the back of Magic Kingdom right by Big Thunder. And, what he's talking about here is, well, how would people get there, right? Like, how would people get to that area of the park? And what he's saying is that there is a solution that's being researched right now within Imagineering that's being considered, and that is getting rid of the Rivers of America.
This is still a rumor, though. Let's make sure we're still on the same page. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Filling in the Rivers of America and getting rid of Tom Sawyer Island and turning that into one big walkway to the back area. So it's really interesting because I am kind of torn by this one, right? Like, because
me too.
It's hard, but right?
Yeah.
So before we even delve into the Disney portion of this, right? It has to, like, if they're going to do something like this, it is going to be in direct response to Epic Universe. And I think that they're going to have to. I mean, I know you guys don't follow it as big, but I think the people that are trying to separate Epic Universe from Disney are just wrong because it's going to have a huge impact on the way Disney thinks and what they do going forward. I mean, I mean, you guys got to watch some of the videos. Like, if you watch like kind of what it looks like last week. I mean, it's huge. It's got a gazillion rides, and it's new. I think Disney has to consider just saying goodbye to Tom Sawyer Island and doing something new there to compete with Epic Universe. I feel the same way. Like, nostalgia says I don't want it to be, but I don't know if they have a choice, because to build a whole nother park, we don't, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, but I just don't see that happening. They're not going to go that route.
Yeah.
Right.
I just don't see it happening.
So they're not going to go that route. So if they don't go that route, what do? I think this is a pretty feasible solution.
You build a whole new land in the most popular park in the world. Yeah. I mean, but the only way you can do that is unless they can figure out some other way around it, which it seems like there's really no good way to do it, right? It's not like they could build a bridge over it. Like, you know,
I mean, they could, and that would be a marvel, but yeah.
Yeah. But like, they
could
can't
do what they did in Disneyland, which is go underneath.
Yeah, but Florida though. And plus they have the utilidors already there, right? Like, so
it's true.
It might be tough just with the soil for them to do that. And then also, yeah, because I mean, he actually says that in this article is that you could try to do it underneath, but because of the way the Florida soil is, and because of the utilidors, you couldn't really do it. So like, I'm with you though, Damon. Like, it's hard because like, I think to myself, okay, when's the last time I went to Tom Sawyer Island?
Yep.
Been a while, right?
Been a while. Yeah.
And do I care that much about it? Probably not. But I do feel like a quintessential part of Disney is the river and the boat, and like, you know, walking through Liberty Square and hearing the boat toot and all that stuff. Like, I feel like I would miss that, even though I don't use them.
But here's the thing: like, is the Liberty Square and all of that whole area just kind of done?
Maybe. I mean,
like, just going forward, yes, nostalgia, I get it. And I hate that when rides go away. Like, I don't know, this seems a little different for me. And I just feel like that whole area is just too old. Just too old.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And if there was no competition in the area, it's different. But you're competing with ridiculousness that's going up over, you know, not that far away from you. And, you know, what is the big thing that this says? And detailed last week the attendance struggles Disney is having in Orlando. Well, I can guarantee you there's going to be no attendance struggles once Epic Universe opens at Universal. At least for the time
Universal's
being.
having attendance struggles too, though.
But I'm saying once this opens, right?
Yeah. No,
I think Disney has to have something. And if this is what you have to do, like, I'm kind of okay with it, even though I hate things to go away. I think you have to, because we've talked about, what does Disney have in its pocket right now?
Nothing that they've announced. I mean, I'm sure they're working on things. They just
sure, but if that's the case, how long away does that put them?
Years. I mean, many years. I mean, they started. I mean, even Epic Universe started. You know, what, a couple of years ago?
Long time ago,
before COVID. Yeah, I mean, it takes, if they're going to build a brand new park, you're talking 5 years away at least, right? I mean,
yeah,
and that seems like building a brand new park is even longer. This would at least maybe be something that would be shorter time, but they have land, so that's the other thing, right? Like, do they need to do this?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like,
there is land for them. Like, it's not like Universal where they're opening this new park that's like across the street, down the river, and through the woods, because they don't have the land.
They don't have the
Disney
land.
has the land.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I feel like it's this weird feeling of Disney definitely not having enough to compete with the other park, and they need to. And I think this is a dilemma, and I'm a little nervous for them in terms of stuff. But I mean, look, I get that the audiences are a little different, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm okay with this as a change. I don't know if it necessarily gets them what they want, because you're still in this weird sort of area. Like, you're not going to pop up a, what could we even put there? I mean, you're not going to pop up like a brand new fancy Encanto ride there, are you? Like, I just feel like that's not the spot.
The problem is that, like, yeah, there is a lot of space there, but I'm just looking, because you still are at the mercy of the railroad tracks.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Right? Even if they took out Rivers of America, you can only expand so far, and then it's the same problem, right? You know, you're talking about space, I don't know. I feel like, to your point, Damon, like they may just look somewhere else. Like it may not be worth it to completely, remove something like this, because there's no, like, I don't know, like it, space, even for Disney, space is somewhat at a premium. In Magic Kingdom.
Well, yeah, at their existing parks, it's at a premium, right? Because they built all these backstage areas around,
Here's the other thing to think about, though. The other problem that I kind of have with Tom Sawyer Island, right, is that, Disney likes specific controls around their areas, right?
Sure, yeah.
Security, safety, that sort of stuff. And I feel like Tom Sawyer Island is a little bit more of a free-for-all, and that may have worked in the past, but as society continues along whatever, path that it does, maybe that's not the best for them. Maybe having people free roaming an island,
people getting crazier and all these fights in the parks and all that stuff.
And just, with people trying to get TikToks and pictures and maybe it's time to shut it down because of that, right? You don't want someone getting hurt there or doing something stupid there. And maybe it's just that time based on that. I
mean, I think people have been known to hide on that island too and try to
hide on that island. It never works.
Yeah, no, never works.
I don't know why it doesn't work though.
No, you're right. It's got a lot of nooks and crannies to it, right? I'm just looking at the. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it's because they, I know that there was issues back, it was in California. Actually, there was there was a brother and a sister, and I think the brother drowned because they hit on the island. This was like long time ago, and they, so that caused an incident, and since then, Disney's changed their stance, and this is part of why the island closes early,
so they have more time to.
Is that they sweep the island, they make sure they get everybody off the island, and they have security make sure that the areas that people are allowed.
Doesn't it seem like a lot of wasted resources?
Well, but I mean, you could say the same thing about they have to have security sweep the bathrooms too, because somebody will try and hide in the bathrooms. Like it's
it seems like an easier find though. I don't know, dude. I really think they should.
There's less bathroom stalls than caves. That's fair.
You want to get me going back to Magic Kingdom? Turn Tom Sawyer Island, license out the Hunger Games, and we're good. Like Hunger Game Island, I'm in.
Oh my god,
no.
I'm in. I'd be there all the time.
You know what they need to do? They did this in Disneyland. Is they actually rolled pirates into Tom Sawyer's Island. So there's a whole cave area where there's the treasure. There's like stuff from pirates specifically in the caves. And it's far more interesting. Like it's almost like a walk through pirates attraction, back to what Pirates was.
Yeah. So what else would you turn it into? So let's just say you left it as an island. What Disney IP would fit there rather than some,
So, like, how many kids know Tom Sawyer Island at this point, right? Like,
yeah,
I mean,
so
Tom Sawyer. I'm not
there?
Tom Sawyer in general. I mean,
I feel like that's where Moana should have went.
Is on that island. I mean,
that would have been kind of cool.
I'm just looking at the map though here, but go ahead, Trevor. Sorry.
It's weird because it is Frontierland. Like I consider that whole area Frontierland, right? So what ties in with Frontierland?
Yeah.
What if they just made a brand new IP, right? Which Disney's too scared to do at this point, I feel like, but made a brand new IP that fit the island and where it is in Disney.
Well, there's actually two islands too, right? Like there's a whole section of like past Fort Langhorne that's not used. So, I mean,
and this is interesting. Someone was talking about this and, one of the comments on this, and they were saying is that, it's kind of cool because Haunted Mansion looks like a Gothic mansion in upstate New York by the Hudson because of the river. Big Thunder Mountain seems like a place in canyons and mountainous terrain next to the Colorado River. Like it does more for a bunch of different things than one would have thought.
Yeah, I think that's that's where this is hard, is that you're right. It's not just Tom Sawyer's Island in a bubble. It's very much a part of the surrounding attractions, right? Like if you take that out, it just looks weird, right? But again, that's nostalgia speaking too, that it doesn't look right.
So Trevor, we don't have Tom anymore.
Oh,
we're Tomless.
I just noticed he went offline. I was wondering why he wasn't saying anything. Yeah.
we can say whatever we want now. Yeah, but we can finish out, can't we?
Yeah. Because
this is crazy. We're gonna finish without Tom.
Well, I mean, yeah, we'll see if he comes back and then he gets to figure out the editing on this or not. I mean, he can leave it in. That's up to him. So,
yeah, and we don't have too much left. So.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tom. We're gonna throw you on Tom Sawyer's Island, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, we'll close this out, and
so we have. Let's see what we have next. We have new Haunted Mansion musical and light up collection.
These are
to us here.
These are general ornaments. So this is Hallmark Disney Park ornaments coming soon. Which the Haunted Mansion one looks nice. Like I like the whole. I love when people throw LEDs into ornaments because I don't know. More lights is better.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the Mickey Peter Pan one. I actually like more ride vehicles. I think needs to come out as ornaments.
I'm not one of those like Halloween Christmas together sort of things. Like that's not really my vibe. So the Mickey Peter Pan one. So it's Mickey on the Peter Pan ride, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I would go for that. If I was going to pick any of these, and I'm sure. So my wife listens to the podcast, and I'm sure she I'm going to catch this in about a week because she's always like a week and a half behind.
Okay.
She's going to listen to this and she's going to come up to me one day and go, "How dare you not pick the Haunted Mansion ornament?" So
that's funny.
Yeah.
All right. So that's ornaments in a nutshell. Now Tom's making us do San Fransokyo Square food guide.
I was already looking at the EPCOT one. Okay, yeah, San Fransokyo.
Okay,
so this. I think you missed this because we've been talking about them redoing. It's not Paradise Pier. Pacific Wharf. Sorry, was the name of the area. They're redoing it to San Fransokyo, which it's still basically offering like a lot of the same food, but they're doing obviously some Big Hero 6 takes on it, including what is this? There's this one Baymax. Oh, it's a Baymax macaroon. Yeah, which
that looks kind of funny.
Yeah, it's funny how simple Baymax's design is, but when you see it, it's like, oh, that's cute. Like it's literally like just like 2 dots with a line in between. But yeah, it looks good. I keep saying they need to do more like character infused food.
Yeah. I mean, so looking at this list, I mean, it's all food that I like. But there's anything really standing out to me. I mean, I like wontons. So that's cool. Right. Ramen, udon. Yeah. I mean, okay.
Yeah. And there's all the regular stuff that was at the Pacific Wharf before, like the bread bowls are still there, which a lot of people, I mean, the bread bowls were popular is the thing.
And then we're on to Epcot with food and wine again. Like, okay. I feel like I was just there.
So this is the thing is we talked about this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I haven't actually looked at this yet. I'll be honest.
I mean, I'm just looking at the items that say new because I don't want to talk about the same items all the time.
I know we did. Tom and I talked about this, but he got the list. There was another site that had posted a lot of this. And I think this is the official one now because we didn't have the official one. But yeah, you're right. We only looked at the new ones, which was there anything that stands out to you? Because I think Tom and I kind of talked through.
No, I mean, the things that that are new, like a hot beef sandwich with shaved beef, like that's not something I'm eating, but I know that the kids would definitely try that. There's a lot of new beverages here. And what's interesting is like, I feel like it's one of those things, like, again, I love the Impossible Burger, right? The ones from Flavors of Fire. It's so good. But how often do I need to have it? I don't need to go every year, I feel like. That's the problem I'm having. Like, so, food and wine was great. Like, okay, cool. but we were just at Food and Wine. Like, even though it was only last year, when there's only, 5 or 6 new items, it's like, I don't need to go every year. So I think that I would be on some like every other year, every third year sort of thing. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. 'Cause there is, like you said, yeah, you can go back and you can have the same things, but are you really like part of Food and Wine is going and finding the new stuff, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if you saw, they have that steak taco at Flavors of Fire.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't eat steak though. That's the kind of, for me,
yeah,
it would be tough, but yeah, I mean, I could see how for other people that would be something that they would be interested in.
Now, hi guys, I'm back.
Tom survived Zeus's wrath. It sounds like.
So there's scrolling through here, and literally half my power went out because like there was a power surge and it knocked half of my circuit breakers out. So like it was really weird, but I'm good now. I'm back. I don't know what I missed, but.
We're in wrap up
the whole
mode.
Tom Sawyer Island thing. Are we not talking?
Oh yeah,
about
we're done with that. We're done with the food. We're done with the other stuff. We're in wrap up mode, man.
So we quickly talked about the ornaments and yeah, I think Damon and I agreed that the Mickey one in the Peter Pan ride was the only one that we would go for. Of those,
you don't want the Haunted Mansion tree topper? What?
I already said this, that my wife's gonna say how dare you, but I would rather have the park ride one versus like I already have a Haunted Mansion ornament too, I guess is the thing. So
yeah, I saw the tree topper and I was like, I would love to have that on my tree, but it's also Christmas and it feels weird to have the Haunted Mansion.
We already said that, Tom.
Yeah.
You missed it.
Well, I wasn't here, so
that's fair. Yeah, we're recapping Tom quickly.
All right. I would just buy that not to put on top of my tree. I'd just put it on like a table or something. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, and we quickly talked about the San Fransokyo Square stuff, which the biggest thing for us was the Baymax macaroon because it looks like Baymax, which is cool. Yeah. And yeah, we were just talking about Food and Wine because I realized you and I talked about Food and Wine.
We did, but now they officially announced it with pictures and all that. Like we just talked through, and I even said that on the last episode too. I was like, they're going to put this out on the food blog with pictures, and we did this a week early, like 2 weeks early, I guess. But yeah. But I wanted to put it on here anyway, just in case there were any pictures that caught our eye that we wanted to talk about. So you guys, you didn't go through it though, or
we were just quickly talking about like Flavors of Fire and in general like the new. There's not always enough new stuff to like come back every year. Damon did have to run. I know he's already gone, but appreciate you hanging on while Tom gets his power.
What a mess this second half of the show was. What happened?
Well, don't let your power go out, Tom. Have a generator running on the side.
I should have had some backup for my computer. Apparently. Although it wouldn't have mattered anyway because my internet would have been gone. But
yeah, I say you got to have a generator and some satellite internet. I gotta get that Starlink going, right?
I guess so. I mean, I can't leave for a couple minutes and then you guys just finish the show. There were like 4 more topics on here. What are you doing?
We talked about them. It's just there wasn't a lot to really talk about. Yeah, I mean, because we already talked about Food and Wine, right? Like
we did talk about all the food. Yeah. I went back and forth on this because I wanted to see pictures. We were kind of complaining about how we didn't have pictures. So now that there were pictures, I was like, well, let me scroll through and just like look at what like stands out to me at least, because I mean, there's some new stuff in here. I mean, like the whole like Flavors of America section is all new, but even when we were reading them, I wasn't really interested in most of them. And even looking at the pictures, I'm like,
Okay, let me ask you this: we were unsure about the pickle fries. That they are deep fried pickles at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So was that on? Would you do that or
deep fried pickles?
Yeah,
I need some different. I don't mind fried pickles.
Yeah.
They're okay. My wife loves fried pickles. Actually, everybody in my family loves fried pickles except for me. So, but I mean, I'm just not a big pickle person in general, right? Like, I just am not a huge fan of pickles. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
Actually, and one last thing. Okay, way far down on this, there is. I lost.
Oh, the pickle shake is on here though too, Trevor, that we were talking about.
Yeah, I was actually looking at the candied bacon funnel cake.
Ooh,
You need to.
You had me at candied bacon.
But so a funnel cake topped with vanilla ice cream, candied bacon, and maple syrup drizzle. And the funny thing is that it looks like a square of vanilla ice cream. Like they're not like scooping it. They're slicing. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Though. I kind of like that because it's like covering the whole thing, like you get more coverage after.
I don't know if you've seen that where like you buy ice cream and you like instead of, or I guess, I don't know if it's a thing outside of Canada. Like we get it up here where you can buy like a carton of ice cream and you slice into it instead of scooping it. And it's usually because they have like a pattern piped into it. So there'll be like a bear face or something in the middle, like when you slice through it. Do you get that down there? Probably.
I don't know. Not that I can think of. No.
Okay. So maybe that.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't throw this dish in Canada just because it has, maple syrup on it. Surprised they didn't just throw it in Canada for that reason.
Well, yeah, it's the funnel cake place, and it's.
Did you look at the pickle shake though, Trevor? Did you look at the picture of the pickle shake?
Let me find it here.
I have to say these Italy items all look delicious. Although Italian stuff always looks delicious to me. I know. I feel bad because we talked about this last week. But
so you're talking this incredible Hulk looking thing that I scrolled.
Yeah,
past.
Exactly. Yeah, this horrific green monstrosity that feels like if I drank it, it'd give me super powers or something.
It looks radioactive for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like I'd be Spider-Man after I drank this.
I think you'd be having maybe a super trip to the bathroom.
I was just going to say, my superhero would be I can puke in the bathroom after drinking this. Yeah. That's what it would be. Yeah. Probably wouldn't even make it. I'd be puking in the bushes on the way.
One of the planters. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I've seen many a food and wine person do after dark at Food and Wine.
Yeah, please don't do that, people. It's it's not fair to the cast members.
Food and Wine. I've said this before. Food and Wine after dark on like a weekend is just debaucherous. It's basically like college town. It's people throwing up in bushes and just just drunkenly walking around yelling stuff. It's just a crazy place to be. But listen, I know we talked about this stuff. Although, wait, what about this? I don't think did we talk about the Char and Chop place? Maybe? I don't know. There were a couple booths that they didn't have anything for yet.
It's been a couple of weeks, so I don't remember. But again, the thing is that none of this is really, like you said, none of it's standing out, I guess. Like it's kind of all like the same stuff, I guess. Or I know there are often new dishes, but it feels kind of samey, I guess. Yeah. You know what I mean?
There's only so many things you can do, though, right? Like it's
that's fair. Yeah, I think to Damon's point, going to Food and Wine at least every other year is probably a better way to approach it, because if you do it too much, you just like even us, we've looked at these menus enough times that it's like, oh yeah, I know what all this is, right? Like, and for you and for us, we've been to Food and Wine multiple times at this point, so it's like, oh, these are just normal things, right? So it's hard to kind of pick out, like, is there something new and exciting there, right?
I get that.
Yeah.
Can I go back to the Tom Sawyer Island thing really quick? Because I had another point I was about to make when I got cut off.
Yeah, that's fair. Before the elements told you they had enough of your conversation.
Dude, this thunderstorm was crazy, man. Like I could hear it through my headphones, and I usually can't hear anything through my headphones. So like it was nuts. Anyway, so what I was going to say about the Tom Sawyer Island thing. First of all, the kids don't know Tom Sawyer unless they read. I mean, they read the book, but they don't know I don't even know if kids still read The Adventures of Tom Sawyer in school. I have no idea. I read it when I was a kid. No idea.
There was that movie with Frodo in it.
Yeah, but like, do kids really know that as a property anymore? Like, I feel like no, right? Like, that's my argument against. For filling it in, right?
Yeah.
But I also was looking at the Google Maps of it, right? And you could theoretically, right? Instead of getting rid of the whole thing, you could just shorten it. So what I mean by this is if you look at the map, Trevor, you can actually, right by where the Haunted Mansion is and where that bridge is that goes over to the other island.
Yeah, cut it
off there. Cut it off there. Yeah, right. So just cut it off there and fill in all that part of the river, right? Like that's a huge piece of land, right? Like cut all that off, and then you can have maybe narrow the river a little bit, and then you could have it where you walk across there to get to the new area, right? And that way you don't get rid of the whole thing. You just get rid of some of it, and then you still have some of that piece there, right? And you get the room that you need.
So the hard part is you have the Liberty Bell there, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And I mean, there's enough clearance there for the Liberty Bell, I guess. So that's the first thing. Whether or not it can make the turn, I guess, or like, again, it's on a track, so they'd have to redo the track. But then the other issue too is, like you said, if you cut it off there, the whole thing around Rivers of America is that there's that, like,
the whole
it actually, there's a channel that connects it to Seven Seas Lagoon.
Yeah, there is.
So if you cut that off, or if you make a bridge going to this new area, you end up having to figure, like, because they still
figure out a way to route the water. Yeah.
The water still needs a way to be routed, but then also when they need to take the Liberty Bell for maintenance, how do you get it out of there?
It's a fair point, Trevor, that I had not thought of in my thinking process here.
Actually, I don't even know how they get it past the because the train goes
through the bridge. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the train. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at where the train is, and I don't recall the train going over that channel, unless
I think it does. It does. It goes over that channel. I'm guessing the train part, like it's like it either swings over or it lifts up like a bridge. I'm guessing based on how big it is, it just like swings so it can get through. It's a good point, though, Trevor. It's a good point.
Yeah, like I said, unfortunately, that's the problem, is that logistically, like the Liberty Bell track in and of itself, and just running the Liberty Bell there, even shortening that up, that becomes kind of crazy logistically, and it poses the same problem that like getting across, or saying, well, we still keep a channel there. Well, you need a bridge, or you need something that people can get back and forth across.
Yeah.
But then, are you building a drawbridge so that you can lift it up? But then it's okay. So if the drawbridge is there, or I guess if the drawbridge is there, they don't have to do it. They don't have to lift it up when people are in the park, because it would really only be when they need maintenance done on it. So it would always be after hours. But it's a whole other set of infrastructure that they have to build. I mean, that again, it's, coming down to if they were going to take this kind of area, back to the earlier point about, premium space, or space being at a premium, you're only really getting half of that usable space.
That's true.
Which does not amount to, like, again, if we're talking, building another attraction, what are you building there? Is it a dark ride? Is it like, you're not building anything even close on the scale to the last couple of rides, like Guardians and Tron and stuff like that. There's just, or unless you're doing a massive show building again, which then poses the problem of, the skyline there is very, nature frontierland. And if you suddenly have, even if it was, painted the same blue as Guardians, you still have a massive eyesore in the back. So
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, what I'd rather see them do is get rid of Tomorrowland Speedway. And I said that, I said that in the group, that like that whole Tomorrowland Speedway just needs to go. It doesn't fit anymore. Like, there's so much space there. I don't know what they would do with it, but I just feel like it needs to go.
It's really not that big.
It's a decent amount of space. I mean, it doesn't fit in with Tron though, or any. I mean, like, it's a whole weird spot there.
Or I guess space wise, I guess it takes up about as much space as the Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, which is a fair amount of space, right? I mean,
but then what's your, like, I mean, I guess that's not fair to say, it takes up too much space, so cut it out, right? Like,
that's not my reasoning. It's more, it's just like, I'm kind of tired of walking by that area and smelling gas fumes. And
I mean, that,
like,
that's a bigger issue of, replace the cars with something more modern, right?
Yeah. Like, I mean, if you made them like electric cars, okay, fine, cool, whatever. Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like they could do something really a lot better with that. Just
They could even, you know what they could do? Have you ever done indoor go-kart racing?
Oh yeah.
Where like, because they use electric go-karts and those things go like, and I know there's a whole safety thing around that, but electric go-karts are, you know, go back to when it wasn't on a track, but the thing is they can better control it now, right? Like they could,
exactly.
you can throttle the top speed, and you can shut them off, remotely and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Like they trackless car ride system in Tomorrowland Speedway.
Okay.
Think about that for a minute.
I also want to say too. So Trevor, which would you rather lose, Tom Sawyer Island or the Liberty Bell? If you had to choose one.
If I had to choose one. Okay.
Theoretically, you could keep Tom Sawyer Island and get rid of the Liberty Bell, right? Like you solve a lot of your problems if you get rid of the Liberty Bell.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
I know that's a hard question, right?
Okay. Why did you do this to me? I thought we were done, and
see, I came back. This is all the things I was going to talk about if my power didn't go out.
Right. So. Okay. All right. If I was to lose, no. Okay. This comes down to,
I broke your brain. I feel like
this comes down. Well, I'm literally having like a landslide of like reasons why not. Because the problem is like we said earlier, is that, and I think this might have been after your power cut out, that it doesn't just affect Tom Sawyer's Island. Like Tom Sawyer's Island and Liberty Bell are not in a bubble. They're part of the larger aesthetic around Big Thunder and Haunted Mansion, where Haunted Mansion is like it depicts a mansion along a river kind of thing, and then on the other side Big Thunder is like it's that western aesthetic with like Colorado River kind of thing, right? So having the river there is very much as part of the area's aesthetic as anything, and taking it out would definitely make all of those attractions feel weird, right? Like there is something to be said for having like a body of water there as part of an aesthetic. Like, and I think it's something people overlook a lot of times until it's gone. Like I've seen this, I'm going to use a local example that, we had, in some of our office buildings downtown, they used to have like large water features as part of like the lobbies and stuff like that. And it made for a more interesting space. And in, recent years, they've taken those out, and I get it because, logistically, maintaining things like that, but maintaining water features is expensive, right? Like it's you got to factor in pumps and stuff like that. But this is literally, a river in Florida is the thing. So it's not quite the same. But once they took those out, you noticed it. Like you noticed that there wasn't a certain aesthetic to the building anymore. Like it didn't feel as, I don't know, like it felt unnatural is what it felt like. And I think that's the thing with this, is that if you take these things out, or if you take the river out, it feels very unnatural, especially. And when the area is called like Frontierland, like the whole aesthetic of it is about nature. So how do you take out?
How do you take that out?
Yeah, right. Like that. That's where I'm wrestling with it. Is that it's not just about Tom Sawyer's Island. It's that whole area. When you walk along the riverfront there, next to Frontierland, when you're up by Haunted Mansion, when you're over by, even Splash Mountain and Big Thunder, like it's all part of the aesthetic, and it's not that it's overlooked, but it's taken for granted. And if you removed it, it would not feel right.
I agree. Yeah, no, I agree with you.
So, yeah.
It's tough, man. I like I said, it's an old IP that nobody cares about anymore, but it's also like part of the quintessential stuff of Disney World, right? Like it's just part of what you think of when you think of Disney World. Even if you haven't been on the Liberty Bell or never gone to Tom Sawyer Island, it's part of the aesthetic,
Mm-hmm. I think they just need to look at Tom, like, can they do something with the IP of Tom Sawyer, right?
Yeah, just make a new movie or something, make it relevant again.
Like I said, I made the joke earlier about Frodo, like for anyone who's not seen The Adventures of Huck Finn, because that's literally what that was a retelling of Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn, which starred Elijah Wood. I know you're probably going, what the heck are you talking about? But whatever.
Me? No, I know what you're talking about. It was like 93.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. So, but yeah, it's been that long, right? Like so either they can revitalize that, or like I said, in Disneyland, they made it very Pirates of the Caribbean centric, which was easier because Pirates is literally on the south bank of the river. So it's very easy to make that tie in. Here, it's, do you tie it in more with Haunted Mansion? Do you, maybe they've got a bigger plan for Big Thunder where they could expand that onto the island? Like, yeah. I think that, I don't think removing this whole area for the sake of a new, we want to put in, a new park, or not a new park, but like a new land. I don't think that works unless you're literally scrapping Frontierland. I'll be honest. Like, I just don't think that works. And I mean, if you're going to scrap Frontierland, fine. That's Disney's prerogative to do so. But, there's bigger ramifications to that, I think, than, people on the surface saying, Tom Sawyer's Island needs to go. You're not looking at the bigger picture, which is probably what Disney is doing right now, right? They are looking at this as not just, scrap this thing. Like what does it mean to everything else around it? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it would spell the end of maybe the whole Liberty Square area, right? Like that whole area might be done, I don't know.
But then again, like why would you do that? Like,
I don't know.
I'm asking like rhetorically, right? Like why would you take out Liberty Square? Because that, that's very much an Americana thing that, Disney classical, like, Walt Disney was very much about Americana, but the company as a whole, this is part of their identity, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like they do portray a lot of things in Americana. So it's, taking that out, what are you replacing it with?
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know. I don't have the answers for this. It's interesting. These are interesting thoughts, though. I just really don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be interesting to see what happens between now and the end of the year. They're going to. I fully believe they're going to announce something between now and the end of the year.
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll see what D23 brings, right? Because they may have a plan for it then. But this could also be like last year they hinted at building a couple of new lands. I personally think that if they were to do this, and I know, the whole argument is around, it's, getting people past the outer barrier, past the train tracks is the challenge. They already have, there's already where Splash Mountain is, it already goes underneath the tracks and goes outside of that barrier.
Yeah.
Right. So from there is places they can go, and there are ways that they can get people out to a larger area. I think they need to just be really cognizant of, like, it's not just a matter of saying, oh, well, let's just build a path here. It's also like, well, what do we do with this backstage stuff? Which is kind of the same problem they had in Disneyland when they did Galaxy's Edge. Like, they actually moved
that stuff, though. Yeah, they can move that stuff.
Yeah, they actually moved a lot of stuff off site that was backstage for them to build Galaxy's Edge. So maybe that's what they're looking at right now.
Yeah, it's possible. All right, so we don't have to talk about this anymore. Sorry.
Sorry, you brought it up again.
Well, listen, I didn't get to finish my thoughts on it. It's the thing I wanted to talk about the most on this today. But I thought you guys would talk about this Haunted Mansion collection a little bit more, but apparently not. So
no, well,
we can wrap up.
Yeah, like we said, it's a little, it's the same problem I have with Nightmare Before Christmas rolling 2 holidays into one, right?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, listen, I said to my wife today, we were at Costco this morning, and she goes, really? They have Halloween costumes out already? I'm like, listen, Halloween starts in a couple weeks at Disney. Like,
yeah, you need your Halloween costume for Disney trips. So
yeah, literally, it starts in a couple weeks. Like Halloween is on the way. So,
but I mean, Costco's always like 3 months ahead.
They
like,
are. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. They actually had a Costco, and I took a picture of it because I wanted to buy it, but it was like $100. They had I don't know if anybody does like the little Christmas villages, like with the ceramic, like cool. And Disney makes a lot of this stuff, but they have a Haunted Mansion one that they were selling there. That was like the mansion with all the characters on the outside of it. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. I just don't know what I would use it for. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm not going to put it up during Christmas, but I'm also don't decorate for Halloween. Like, I don't know. What do I use this for? But it's awesome.
You have to just commit to making a Haunted Mansion room if you're going to do that.
Exactly.
Or like an area of a room that's like Haunted Mansion related stuff.
Yeah. And obviously they're releasing all this stuff because the movie's coming out in a week, right? So, and the more trailers I see for this movie, the more excited I am for it, by the way. But
totally.
Yeah, it looks awesome, right? Like, it really looks good. So we'll see when the reviews come out, but I who knows? Even if the reviews aren't good, I don't care. So
I mean, it can't. I'm gonna regret saying this, but it can't be any worse than the previous Haunted Mansion.
Murphy one, I agree. Yes, it can't be worse than that. Like, it already looks better in just the trailers, and it's got better people in it. It looks good.
Yeah, and to be fair, sorry, let me qualify that. Is that it's not that I'm saying that the Eddie Murphy one was a bad movie, because it was a fun family movie. It wasn't a good Haunted Mansion movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Like that's the only problem I had. Like, it's not that I hated the movie. It's just, it didn't do good service to the Haunted Mansion. I think I can't see this movie being worse than that.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's go ahead and wrap up.
Yeah. Let's wrap up. Your power outage kind of.
Yeah, I know. I messed up the whole show today. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you plan your power outage is better, Tom.
I will have to plan it better next time. I'll ask the storm to come later.
Yeah, can you delay that by? Why don't you have a Disney bubble, Tom? You know how to put the bubble up to stop the rain. Why don't you have one of those at your
glass dome up? Right? Yeah.
Well, get on
exactly.
Yeah. All right. Okay, let's wrapping this up. As usual, if you guys want to reach out to us about anything you heard on the show, or just, in general, you can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from you guys, and, people just sharing, people share their stories. People ask us about, trips they're taking, if they ask for advice, or they just share what they're doing. And, we love hearing that. So, please continue to reach out to us. It's always welcome to hear from our listeners. And if you want to follow us on social media, you can find us on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast, YouTube also as Welcome Home Podcast, and Instagram as Welcome Home Pics. If you are on Facebook, make sure you check out our group, Welcome Home Disney Waitlist. It's a great place to talk with other DVC fans and Disney fans, and get a lot of great information from people, and also just talk with people that are excited to talk about Disney as much as we are on this show. So join that if you're looking for a good fun Facebook group without all the drama. And if you'd like to help support the show, go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com and check out our different t-shirts and mugs and stuff like that you can get. If you're needing some shirts for your next Disney trip, consider picking some up from the store. And if you would rather support us through Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod and check out our different levels of support that we have there. Each level of support has different exclusive merchandise that you can only get from our Patreon page. And anybody who does support us through Patreon also gets access to the Discord server, which is another place that we talk with our fans. It's a little more intimate and all that. So if you like Discord, or if that's of interest to you, please consider having a look at Patreon. And last but not least, if you are listening to us on iTunes or Spotify, leave us a 5-star review, because that helps the algorithm tell other people that we're cool. So, we want people to think we're cool. So leave us a 5-star review so that we can get more cool people listening to the show.
Yeah.
And and also on iTunes, if you want to write us a review, and we do read those out on the show. Tom, you said we have some this week.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite reviews in a while. It's titled "It's Y'all's Fault."
All right,
it's a good way to start. Prior to listening to your show, I thought DVC was pretty much reserved for people in the Millionaires Club, doctors, lawyers, CEOs. Listening to you guys, I realized that DVCers are generally normal people that really love Disney, and in parentheses, we love the food and merch talks. Thank you. I'm glad you guys enjoy the food and merch talks. I also learned though, y'all. I also learned through you all that buying resale was a thing. Not only is it a thing, but it's a great option for those of us who want in but don't have an extra $50K lying around. Now we own 200 points at Saratoga Springs, and it's y'all's fault. So thank you, Jen. I just love that review. That's an excellent review, Jen. I really like that.
As the resident Canadian, I just want to say sorry, Jen.
Sorry. Does anybody say y'all in Canada? Is that?
Yeah, we do hear it. The interesting thing is we actually have a lot of there's a lot of people where I live. There's a lot of people that come from Texas, so okay. we do hear a lot of y'all in regular conversation, and all y'all as well. There was a surprising amount of y'alls in that review. I appreciate it though. I don't know where Jen's from, but that was really nice. So, all right.
I always appreciate when people find resale from us and and learn about DVC from us, because honestly, I think I thought the same thing when I was looking at DVC, that it was only for super rich people, and it's not. It's for you can get in at a lower price level. So. What were we gonna say, Trevor? I'm sorry.
No, nothing. Yeah, no, that's it. Just yeah.
Well, don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, just about any podcast app out there. Just search for Welcome Home, look for us. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions we express on the show are our own, so please consult a Disney cast member or DVC representative for more information about anything we talked about today. Big thank you, of course, as always, to our sponsors, DVC Resale Market and World of DVC, for sponsoring this episode and for sponsoring the show. Please check them out, dvcresalemarket.com/welcome home. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion, of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit a chair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl, eating